From wherever in the world you are, welcome to the Great British Mickey Waffle. I'm Jill, and this week I'd like to take us on a food journey around Walt Disney World. And this time we'll concentrate on plant-based and vegetarian options. So line up veggie, fruit on your music player of choice, and let's explore. This week I am joined by Simon. Let's say hi, Simon.
Good evening. Hello.
Hi, how you doing, Simon?
I'm not too bad. How are you guys?
Cool. Yeah, we're okay. And we've got Claire. How are you, Claire?
I am okay, Jill. I am giving fair warning to people. I am in charge of the buttons and the things this evening. So I said to Ben just before the show, I said, I'm in charge of all the buttons. I'm a little bit worried. And then I said, but then let's face it cannot go any worse than last week. So,
no, absolutely.
You know what? We're already doing better than Ben did last week, where he managed to knock the mouse and get rid of all the titles. So, you know, I'm winning. But I am going to have to just swap me and Simon over because that's how it should be. Currently, for the moment, anyway. That may well change as the show goes on. Who knows?
And we have Peter.
He was in the wrong place. It just feels wrong sitting here. Normally,
this is like Ant and Dec, but Dec and Ant.
Yes.
This isn't good.
All the American audience are going, the what now?
They know who Ant and Dec are, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's true. They spend a lot of time out in Florida, don't they?
Yeah.
So,
And Ben has just said we're doomed.
Oh dear.
Dad's Army.
Yeah.
We're doomed.
Thank you for that. For Americans who don't know what Dad's Army is, ignore that.
Now, if anybody is looking for plant-based options to eat while they're at Walt Disney World, the website has got a section listing food items available in the parks, the resorts, Disney Springs and Boardwalk, and even at the water parks. And if you're in any doubt, you can look for the leaf. There's a green leaf symbol that you'll find on menus. Now, two of our wafflers are well versed in plant-based eating. So I'm going to let them tell me about all their favorite dishes and the places to find them when they visit Walt Disney World. So I'm going to hand over largely to Claire and Simon, but anybody else in the chat and anybody else here has any recommendations, do feel free to join in. So shall we start with the Magic Kingdom?
We can start there, definitely. It's always a good place to start. And I think that I would just say that I think if we cover plant-based and vegetarian, I mean, there's an awful lot of stuff that's vegetarian that you don't, it's common sense. It's vegetarian. But if you're looking for a true plant-based diet, you do sometimes have to check because some of the, like if you're having a salad, some of the dressings are not plant-based. So you might need to ask for the dressing on the side if it's something that you particularly are looking for. And there's a couple of really good Instagram accounts. One of them is Vegan Disney Food, at Vegan Disney Food, and that's Susanna, known as Susanna Land, also, who she does a really good summary of all the new food that comes out and is able to identify whether it is actually plant-based or not, and she will show the adaptations that you need to make in terms of making it truly plant-based. But, in the same way that if you've got a special diet and you've got an allergy or anything like that, you can ask for information about the ingredients. So I would just throw that open at the very beginning if you are being very strict.
Vegan Disney World as well.
That's the other one.
Yeah, two vegans, Melissa and Corey, that started that blog probably about 10 years ago now. So they've probably been quite a significant shift in the I'm sure 2014 it was probably quite difficult for vegan options back then. So It's only been in the recent years that they've really put focus around plant-based options over and above just vegetarian. I think that's the valid point, right? Is the difference between vegetarian and veganism, and sometimes you've got to ask the question. So you might be happily there eating Dole Whip, and if you've got a vanilla, no problem if you're vegetarian, but that's a problem if you're wanting purely vegan.
Yeah.
Okay.
And sometimes, actually, some of the vegetarian dishes, if you ask the question, they can make them plant-based, they can make them vegan. They can say, well, I can exchange this for that, and then it'll be fine. So they're certainly looking to accommodate dietary preferences.
One thing I will say is when I was younger, I went out with a girl who was a vegetarian, and eating out with her was so difficult.
I was going to say, is this a joke? I was waiting for the punchline.
No, it's absolutely true.
Okay.
Yeah, what she was like as a person is a different matter, but
vegetarian, I don't think.
But she was a vegetarian, and going out with her, getting food was really difficult at restaurants and places like that. These days, if you're vegetarian or vegan, you're much better off.
Yeah, and I think just before we start going into particular dishes, there are a lot of options where there are meat substitutes. Some of them are better than others, and actually, in my preferences, I tend to avoid meat substitutes. Actually, it's not something that I would go for. I choose to be vegetarian or plant-based. It's a choice, not because of any particular ethical reasons or anything. It's just that I don't feel very nice after I've eaten a big lump of meat, so it just makes me feel a bit grim. So it's not because I'm trying to be trying to tell the gospel about the animals being killed. I know that for some people that is a really strong message, and that's perfectly acceptable and respectable, and I think that we all have different views. For me, it's just because I don't particularly like it. So I think that the choices that are available have grown. I've seen that over the last 3 years even. So I think we all have different reasons why we might choose a vegetarian dish. Sometimes it's because it's the best thing on the menu, looking at you, Steakhouse 71. But we'll get to that in a little while.
Oh, we will.
I think that is a valid point generally about the menu options for the plant-based food. That for me, the stuff I like inherently was always the plant-based option anyway. And I think they almost go above and beyond to put effort into crafting the plant-based options to make them sound even more interesting and more enticing. I think that an aspect of trying to cover up the lack of flavor, as some people probably would have thought, but I think it makes the dishes far more exciting than most of the standard meat, carbohydrate kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or even the meat substitute, like the Impossible burgers that you get. Actually, it's a burger. It's still going to taste like a burger, whether it's got meat or it's fake meat.
But I think they're quite clever with what they put on some of the plant-based burgers that are better.
Right.
So I think they do step it up for the plant-based options. That they always appeal to me more so anyway.
I'm a little worried about the comment here. It says tag a friend and grab a carrot.
Well,
I do hope that Olaf is not lurking anywhere.
Well, I nearly wrote grab a friend and tag a friend and grab a cucumber, but I thought that wasn't appropriate. So
no, indeed.
Let's move on. In terms of being a chef and cooking vegetarian stuff, Peter, is it require more technical skill and creativity, do you think?
Certainly today it does, yes. Back in the day when I first started, you got some sort of omelette or something like that, or whatever, or a nut roast.
I like a nut roast.
Yeah, but not at every meal.
Yeah, or a mushroom risotto.
Mushroom risotto, yeah. So certainly Disneyland Paris was mushroom risotto.
So there's none of that. Well, to be fair, at Disneyland Paris they used to give you like a pre-cooked microwave meal. So there's definitely been a step up there. But there is not a single mushroom risotto in sight tonight. No. And I don't even think there's an omelette. So we're going to show you some really cool food that you can have, whether you're vegetarian, vegan, or whether you're not.
However,
I will counter it. There are a few omelettes on there, but they're not egg omelettes. So
Ooh.
there are a few from that I've added. So
Cool.
I do agree with Claire though, in that when I do eat vegan vegetarian, and I cook it, obviously, I don't go for the Impossible Burgers or the Moving Mountain Burgers or things like that. If I want a decent vegetarian vegan dish, I want a vegetarian vegan dish. I don't want something that looks like meat.
So let's start with that point.
I'll happily smash out an Impossible Burger. I'm not fussy about that. I will go for that all day long.
But let's start there, because we were in the Magic Kingdom, and I want to throw open the show with what I think is one of the best vegan meals that you can get in the Magic Kingdom, and in pretty much in some of the sit-down restaurants, which is the crew stew at the Jungle Skipper Canteen.
Ooh.
So that is a vegetable curry, a paratha, some pineapple crispy tofu, and coconut rice.
Ooh.
And it is my go-to every time I eat it. I think I've only had one other dish, but that tofu curry is incredible. The flavour of the tofu. And actually people go, ugh, tofu, isn't it like rubber? Only if it's cooked badly.
Absolutely.
So, Simon, have you had that as well? Have you had the crew stew?
I have indeed, yeah. So I think for me, some of the parks are better than others. I think there is a selection of stuff at Magic Kingdom, but if I'm going for table service, I would always pick Skipper Canteen anyway. Just it's not as uptight as I'm not necessarily a big fan of like Crystal Palace and Cinderella's Royal Table. I've been and done them with that, and I want something a bit less formal. So Skipper Canteen is always the one for me, and definitely the cream stew. But I miss the noodles. They used to have noodles there that were really good. But
so I think you can. So last time I was in there in about 6 weeks ago with my cousin, and she had the dan dan noodles, spicy dan dan noodles, which had I think they've got pork in them and prawn. And you can ask them to switch out the meat and replace it with tofu. It's not quite the same, but they will put that tofu into another dish if you want to. Yeah. So and make it a vegetarian dish because of some of the dressings. So
I gather that is proper spicy, not Disney spicy.
Oh, it is really spicy. Yeah, my cousin is a massive fan of spicy food, and she was like sweating, and it was very funny. But it is. They do warn you it's spicy. But yeah, if you like a bit of excitement in your meal, maybe that's the way forward.
I think Skipper Canteen lends itself to this kind of food because of its exotic nature, and they able to pick out different ingredients that's not just meat. Because of its exotic nature.
They also have the Brazilian cheese bread on the secret part of the menu that's not secret because they've always got it, which are vegetarian and very good, and huge portion of 9 pieces of cheese bread with a really cool like chimichurri dip.
We had it between us.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We couldn't finish it between the two of us actually because it's like there's another whole course to go up to here with like stodgy cheese bread, which tastes amazing, but it
does. It does.
But they've got other stuff there as well. The falafel on the starter is
really good.
They've got like a panna cotta type thing on the dessert menu as well.
Yes.
And is that made with coconut milk?
I think, didn't we have that?
I can't remember.
That, I think.
Is that maybe coconut or oats?
Isn't it something like Connie's panna cotta, something or other?
I'll be honest, I barely have any room for eating dessert.
I can't remember the last time I had a dessert in Walt Disney World. I really can't. It's not something that I ever get.
Okay.
I think we've talked about this before, that I'm most definitely a savoury person. I choose salty every single time. And I'm the person that would always go for the starter, the appetizer, and the dessert can do one. I'm not bothered. Or I'd have cheese. So that, that's the other option. But I'm not someone who wants a big slab of cake or ice cream. I obviously don't do ice cream or anything like that. So
I'll take the dessert and the cheese. But
okay.
probably just miss the main course. No, just miss the main course.
We'll have your portion, Claire. That's all right.
That's fine. What about up in Pecos Bills? Now they used to do a cauliflower taco, and I don't know whether they still do that now. That was really good. They do like a vegetable rice bowl, which is it's fine. I wouldn't say it's the most exciting meal I've ever had. It comes with a bit of salad, some spicy Mexican rice, and a mixture of black beans, which I do love, and corn. It's just a little bit bland, so you need to top it up with some, hot sauce and various things. But it's not. I think if you do any of the backstage tours, like if you do Keys to the Kingdom, you go for a meal at Pecos Bills, and they say, "What do you want to eat?" And that's the only vegetarian option that they have available.
Shame.
But they used to do a really, really great trio of vegetable tacos that were great. They've long gone, sadly.
Oh.
Isn't Pecos Bills closing though? Isn't it going to be turned into a
something to do with
match with Tiana's?
There's rumours.
That's the rumours.
I haven't heard that officially, Peter.
Okay.
Unless you've got a route to someone that we haven't heard. I don't think that's been announced.
It's been on some of the people that we follow.
But I think not as a rumour.
I think it's more a rumour, but
until AJ says it on Disney Food Blog,
that's right. Yeah. Okay.
So where else do we have in Magic Kingdom?
So Columbia Harbour House.
Okay, yeah. Upstairs, of course.
I'm indifferent about this one. So there is a picture on there. So it's the one on the right there.
Yeah.
So that is the plant-based fake crab cake sandwich. Yeah. Now it might look really juicy there with the slaw on the top, but it can be a touch dry. So it's okay if you want something like that, but it's not necessarily for everybody.
Do we know what the fake crab is?
I think it's pea protein. And I'll be honest with you, I have had the misfortune to try that. It's almost 2 years ago to the day, actually. I'm just thinking about it because I was there on my first solo trip, and I went to Columbia Harbour House with Jason to grab some food before we did a live show, and he was like, "Oh, I'm going to have the fake crab cake because it looks really cool. It's a dark bun, a rye bun, and stuff." And I swear to you, this thing, we both tried it. We both had them, and I was like, "What on earth is this? This is like." My mouth, every bit of saliva disappeared from inside of my mouth. It was like, when you suddenly feel like if you suck a lemon and suddenly your mouth goes. It was kind of like that. It was really not great. So it's not something that I have ever ordered since, I'm afraid.
So I've had it again since, because if you want quick stuff, short of the other one, which is a plant-based thing from like a hot dog from Casey's. If you're stood around waiting on the hub for fireworks, you've got those two options that kind of walking distance that you can come back with your food. I think they've changed the bun on that now. It's not a dark bun. It's gone to like a regular brioche-looking type bun.
And that might be better then.
It's no different. The crab cake, the contents of it. And I always think it's quite odd that they haven't come up with something imaginative to go on it, because they have all of these other plant-based aiolis and sauces, but they just don't. They don't extend to doing something with that one, but there you go. It's an option. If you never know, somebody might eat it and go, "Oh, that's not bad actually," but it's just okay for me.
I think the thing that I would do at Columbia Harbour House if I was forced to eat there as a vegetarian, not necessarily plant-based, is to get the hush puppies and some fries, because hush puppies are things that I didn't know existed until that very evening where I was forced to try them. Actually, they're delicious. It's like a little bready, stodgy corn fritter, which are really, really good, dipped in barbecue sauce, I found, and with some fries. And that would be more than enough food, because the hush puppies come, I think they're like a portion of 5, and they're quite big. They're the size of, that sort of size. I know that works on if you're listening to the podcast on Friday, that really helps you. Probably about 2.5 inches in diameter, I would say. And they're really quite filling. So if you could do that with some fries if you wanted to.
Okay. When I was growing up, hush puppies were shoes.
No, I still think of hush puppies as shoes. They tasted much better than a shoe would.
Oh, good.
You've had experience of this.
In Sleepy Hollow, there is the Nutella waffle in the morning on the breakfast menu, which is something that I haven't got a photo of, actually. I did try it when I was there recently. So it's quite a big waffle, which is folded down the middle, and it has strawberries, fresh bananas, blueberries, Nutella, and then I think there's like a little squirt cream or like cool pretend cream on the top. It is more than enough to share between at least 2 people. The waffle is probably 9 inches in diameter. It's quite a big one, so it's one of those ones that they sort of fold, and you could cut it into 4 if you wanted. I couldn't finish it. I probably ate maybe about just under half of it. I ate all the fruit, a little bit of the waffle, and then the rest went to the great trash can in the sky because I was full. But have you tried the Nutella waffle, Simon? Oh, we can't hear you.
Oh,
You've gone silent, Simon.
Hit the mute button. I'm not a big Nutella fan, I'll be honest. So it's not something I go for.
That's not going to be a win for you then.
I'm a savoury person, so I will always take savoury. Breakfast savoury. So yeah, Nutella is just not something I'm a big fan of, really.
I tried it because I wanted to know if it was as good as everyone said. I think if you're a massive Nutella fan, like Millie, when we're there in the summer, I will totally get her that for breakfast. She would love it, and it's much cheaper than going to Crystal Palace.
Well, yes.
So she will hoover that and probably the whole thing, and that would be brilliant for her. But I would say that it wasn't quite as good as I thought, but it was very big, and it was a very hot day, so you know.
Talking of Crystal Palace, how do you manage your buffets?
So they're not that bad, actually. So most of them will have plant-based sausage, and actually the Disney plant-based sausages, I think they're fairly standard across most of the locations. Would you say that, Simon? I think. Yeah.
I love the plant-based sausages.
Yeah, they're really good.
That's good. Yeah.
And I don't actually like normal meat sausages. It's not something that I would previously have ever chosen to eat. The plant-based sausage, the one at the Riviera, I remember at Topolino's, particularly was good. And I don't know if that's the same one that they have everywhere. It was just because I was in Topolino's that it tasted better.
It's the same as a lot of locations.
Is it?
So the one at Riviera, they have it at Topolino's there, and they sell it in Prima
Piatto.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Quick service as well.
It's really good.
Yeah, and anywhere that you might see a plant-based, I think they're Beyond Sausage.
Okay.
Anywhere that you see,
there's a joke in there somewhere.
Yeah.
But actually,
usually going to be the same offer.
Yeah, okay. But they're really good.
Sausage
they're really
and
tasty.
Beyond.
They're really tasty. So Crystal Palace and some of those breakfast buffets, there isn't a bacon alternative. There is a sausage alternative. Things like waffles and pancakes are vegetarian. You can, places like Cape May Cafe, they have and Crystal Palace, they have an omelette chef if you are someone who eats eggs. I don't know whether they do a plant-based omelette option. I've never asked, actually.
Okay.
They often do. So certainly Cape May, I think Crystal Palace do. I don't know whether Crystal Palace do it as an omelette. Cape May do. I think
they do
like a vegan
scramble.
Egg frittata.
Yeah, and often there'll be a vegan scramble as well. Yeah. So I've seen that in Tusker House, particularly with.
Yeah, Cape May have one as well, like a tofu scramble. I'd say it's not like a scrambled egg; it's like chunks of tofu. I looked at it and thought, that's
slightly different.
Not what I was thinking of as a scramble. It's chunks of tofu. It was still tasty.
Yeah.
Thinking of the people who, sorry, Simon. Think of the people who might be listening. They keep the vegan vegetarian food completely separate so that people are not using the same utensils to move them around. Because I know at work, if someone gets a meat utensil and uses it on anything vegetarian, we got to throw the vegetarian away completely. And
that's a bit harsh. Is the person okay, or do you mean the dish?
I mean the dish.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
that's fair. So they tend to be in a slightly separated area, and they have their own utensils. But things like, donuts and the breakfast lasagna, is vegetarian. There's no meat in that.
Okay.
It's all the sweet stuff, but it's okay for vegetarians.
Mhm.
And they always have plant-based milk. You just have to ask. So it tends to be soya, oat, or almond milk are usually available. You just have to ask the server, and they will bring that to you in a separate cup, separate jug. Not a problem at all.
I don't know what it's like in the US. Sorry.
Yeah. Soy, I think, is one of the most popular there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I drink oat milk at home, but what I always find is that the oat milk there does taste different to what we're using.
Okay.
Yeah, I find that.
So I tend to opt for soy milk.
And they call. I got told off because they call it soy, not soya. Whereas in the UK we tend to call it soya. And I was told that it's just another British situation where we're using extra letters, like colour and favourite. Why are you calling it soy? I said because it's made from soya beans, and that's what it says on the carton. No, it's soy.
It's the other way around. They're removing the letters.
Right. Yeah. I know. That's a whole show in itself. But yeah, so in any table service restaurant, and actually quite a lot of the quick service, if you ask, they will provide you with different dairy alternatives.
Okay.
I see we've got a comment here from Faith Elizabeth. Hi, Faith. Says that she's an almond milk drinker.
Yeah, I love a bit of almond joy. The almond. Oh no, almond breeze, isn't it? Almond joy is a chocolate. Almond breeze is really great.
The joy they do is soy.
Yes,
is joy.
That's right. And they come in. If you go to the supermarket, there was a day I just remember standing there in front of the fridge in the supermarket. I think it was a Walmart somewhere. I must have been having a moment where I went to Walmart, and there's like the 10 different big chiller cabinets, and all I wanted was like a small carton of light soy milk for my tea.
No, you're gonna be taking away.
Honestly, there was just like my brain was hurting because there was so many different options and none of them were what I was looking for.
I asked the Disney cast members the milk that is most used there, and it's the Red Joy brand is what they offer at most, and they often use that in their Joffrey's and coffee stands as well.
Okay,
I know they do an almond brand, but from a soy milk. So every time I go to Walmart when I'm there now, that's what I will pick up as a.
That's what I'm going to do in a couple of weeks when I'm there.
I always wonder whether soy milk is just milk introducing itself in Spanish.
Maybe so. Soy leche. So I haven't been to Cosmic Rays for a very long time.
Oh, good.
For lots of reasons. So I have no idea whether they do. I'm sure they do an Impossible Burger of some description.
It's actually a patty melt that they do.
Oh my life, that sounds horrific.
It's basically just it's a burger, but in toasted bread instead of a bun. So
that's not enticing me to go back.
Patty. Yeah,
I'd say it's probably one of the better things if you want a burger. After a burger, that's probably better than some of the other options. I've not had it for quite a while. It was the old one when they introduced it for the 50th when I had it.
Mm-hmm.
I've not had it since, but it was more than edible, more than as I say. I don't mind Impossible and fake meat products. I'll draw a line at some of it, but Impossible stuff and beyond stuff I don't mind those. So yeah. If you want something quick and everybody else wants Cosmic Rays because they want a big burger in there, then you haven't got an option.
They need educating that there's other places.
Yeah, you're going with the wrong people.
Yeah. I'll tell you where I did have a really good meal with a vegetarian option was the Liberty Tree Tavern.
Oh.
So they do, obviously, the normal menu is like a Thanksgiving feast and more food than anyone could possibly eat. I can't imagine anyone finishing their plate in there ever. Peter, you're going to tell me you have, aren't you? Have you been there?
We haven't had the feast. We just had a normal.
We just had the normal meals.
Yeah, but it's all you care to enjoy.
And it didn't used to be when
the plates are like piled up. So I went on my own. All right, so I went on my own. And I had the vegetarian option, the plant-based option. And I got the salad to start with, and I got the bread, and then I got some plate that came out. And I swear to you, there was probably enough food for about 4 people.
Right.
Because it's plated up, and I probably ate a quarter of it, if that. It's like one of those meals where you have to start at the top and work your way down because there's so much on the plate.
Yeah.
And the server told me off because I hadn't eaten enough. She was like, "What's wrong with it?" It was like being at home. It's like with my parents. It's like, "What's wrong with it? You haven't eaten very much." I'm just like, "I've eaten sufficient, thank you very much, but you haven't eaten it."
Oh.
It was fine. And then the dessert, which was a cobbler, I think, was also vegetarian. So but they do a vegan dessert.
Right.
What it was. So
warm apple cake.
that's the one.
Oh,
Yes. Yeah.
I've seen that
Have you
menu. I've never eaten at Liberty Tree Tavern. But
I just took an opportunity one day because I was on my own.
Yeah.
And I just went up and said, "Have you got any?" And it was quite early. It was a day I was coming home. It was quite early in the afternoon, and they sat me straight away. It wasn't a problem. So opportunistic, but it was good, and it was not expensive for what you get. So I think it's a reasonable option.
Yeah, when we went, it was just plates of food. It was individual plates
the
of
feast
food.
was in the evening.
Yes.
Okay.
I think Wendy is hinting here that we need to move on to Epcot.
Let's go over there then.
Yeah.
Well, so where should we start? Because the festival options have grown for vegetarians and vegans massively. But in terms of the standard restaurants, they're probably not as good as you might think. So I would say Le Cellier is poor. Obviously, it's a steakhouse, so you would expect that. But it's not great. They do a vegetarian or a vegan poutine, which has got a non-meat gravy, and a meat cheese curd substitute. But I have not gone back there since I stopped eating meat because I found the menu to not be very appealing. I'm trying to think where else is good. The San Angel Inn has one dish which is okay. It's a vegetarian dish, but they do a mushroom dish, I think, for vegan. But again, it's not particularly exciting. It wouldn't always be my choice of restaurant anyway. I went to Beer Garden.
Whoa.
And that was actually tough going. That wasn't a great experience. They did bring me vegetarian. They brought me the vegan, the plant-based sausage, and as many of them as I wanted.
Yeah.
And that and potatoes was kind of the menu. So,
having had a few trips to Germany, it's basically pork and pork. Yeah.
So funnily enough, actually Epcot for me wasn't the best option unless it's the festival food. So I can say that was one of the best things I ate on my previous trip, which was the Impossible Buffalo Chicken poutine, which was made with tater tots. And it had like a blue cheese crumble and a plant-based ranch over the top of it. And yes, that was a really delicious orange Pilsner that I had with it. I had that on my last day. It was absolutely incredible. I would go back and have that tomorrow and probably have 2 portions because it was delicious. The buffalo sauce was properly spicy. And the ranch, you wouldn't know.
Had they taken the blue cheese crumbles away by then? They lasted all of about a week before either they weren't favourable or they ran out.
I think they probably didn't hold their consistency very well in the heat.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So
But that booth always does a really decent plant-based poutine. They did one, I think, the year before as well. That was like a sausage blend that went on the top, but it was regular fries. But they usually have a plant-based poutine option there. So I always think that's a decent place. I'm a little bit the same as you about Epcot, Claire. I find some of the main table service restaurants are a little lacking in some of their imagination. I think the Connections Cafe that used to have a pizza.
They had the pizza, like the curry pizza.
Yeah, and that was brilliant.
Great.
And they've swapped that out for a burger. The burger, on the other hand, is great. I had that when I was there just a couple of weeks ago. But my favourite place for food, if I want a vegan thing there, will be the Regal Eagle Smokehouse.
Okay.
So they do a jackfruit topped burger there, which is on Texas toast. I don't know whether I uploaded the photo of that, but that
Is
for
it
me,
very garlicky Texas toast?
yes, it is basically just thick garlic toast.
Thick garlic bread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Some Texas toasts are not that garlicky. Yes.
yeah, and this is interesting because actually, Simon, you're probably a bit more amenable to some of the options for vegetarians and vegans, because whilst I don't eat meat, I also cannot bear jackfruit. I can't stand it.
Okay.
I also don't like avocado, which is something that people tend to throw into most vegan dishes. And I'm not a big fan of tomatoes. So I kind of limit my options a little bit. So I become
Probably
increasingly
not
difficult.
the first choice. Yeah.
Yeah. So I haven't been to Regal Eagle because I don't like jackfruit. I don't like the consistency of jackfruit. It just find it a bit weird. So not one that I would choose.
Yeah.
What about the Eastern restaurants?
The where?
The Eastern
So
restaurants.
China,
Japan.
So Katsura Grill do a vegetable udon, which is okay.
Yes.
It's okay. I would choose to have soba noodles rather than udon noodles. I don't particularly like the texture of an udon. In case people that are listening haven't realised, I have an issue with their mouth texture on things. So udon noodles are something that I struggle with.
Right.
So sometimes they will switch it out and do it with a soba noodle for you.
Yeah.
But in terms of, I have never ever eaten in either of the Chinese restaurants, Nine Dragons or what's the other one? Can't remember. I've never eaten either of them.
Right.
So,
Okay. Neither have we. No.
but I have eaten in the Akashus, and they have some great options because they have loads of pickled vegetable things, and so the smorgasbord approach. They've also got the fish and meat, but they've also got cheeses, and they've got lots of vegetable dishes, and so there are alternatives. But
I wondered about the Moroccan pavilion and Moroccan restaurants.
That's changed now, though, hasn't it? That's
there isn't I think
a quick
there's
service
a restaurant. Yeah.
there is a quick. I mean, they've got Spice Road Table, and they. I don't think they've even got the hummus fries anymore, which were like the pinnacle of the festival booths previously, and they moved them into Spice Road Table, and I think they've got rid of them. During Food and Wine last year, they did have the big like the flatbread that had 3 or 4 different dips with it, and the flatbread was like a puffed flatbread. It was like quite a big thing, but by the time everyone else who you were with has eaten a bit of it, there wasn't very much left to dip in the dips. You needed 2 or 3 of the flatbread to go with the amount of dip that you got.
Okay.
So,
Right.
but it was tasty. It was really good, actually. But they do have some incredible baklava and vegetarian pastries in the little booth in the corner of Morocco, which is very good. So if you're looking for something sweeter, that's an option. And then I guess back in the back of France, they do have some vegetarian options in terms of cheese and tarts and things like that. So if you wanted like
I think isn't there a ratatouille galette? Yeah,
there is.
Yeah.
And then up in the creperie, there's a ratatouille. There's some vegetarian crepes, aren't there?
There are,
Savoury ones.
Yeah.
If you want to go up there.
Yeah. So Faith is asking about gluten-free options.
I think you have to ask, really.
Yeah.
There are there are if you look at the menu options, what they usually do is they provide allergy option menu selections as well. But the same goes for anybody that might be vegan because they are dairy intolerant. They will always ask at restaurants if you have allergies. So it's always worth pointing out to them, not just assuming that, I'll just look at the menu. Just point out to them. And if need be, what they will do is they will bring the chef out to speak to you about what can and can't be done.
Oh, yes.
And they will advise what the options are for you. So I'd say, now I've been with work colleagues I took to Hollywood Studios, and one of them was gluten-free. And he just went and asked, and they gave him all the advice. The chef came out, this was Backlot Express we were at, and the chef came out from the back.
Yeah.
Just to him about what the options are. and what they could do with other items that they could then make gluten as well, rather than it just being the basic gluten-free options that they had on the allergen menu. So, there are options for gluten-free as well, plus peanut allergies.
All of the allergies.
They will accommodate where they can.
Yeah.
Some
Go on.
Some of us get a very odd look when you tell them what their allergy is.
Yeah, I guess it's what's going on in the kitchen, and they are very careful about cross contamination.
Oh, they are absolutely.
I was going to say that I went to Tepan Edo, maybe 2 years, 18 months ago, and obviously chose the yasai option, chose the vegetable option, and they said, "Is that because you have an intolerance?" I said, "No, it's a preference," but actually the chef was incredible in terms of wiping down the grill, segregating the grill, because obviously they cook it all in front of you. And they tend to just like throw everything on. So you've got the shrimp on one side, and everybody else at the table was having something with meat or fish in it. And the chef was incredible about just segregating my little corner. And he built like a little barrier in vegetables around the bit that he was cooking for me on, which it was really good actually. I found the whole thing a little bland, but that was just the meal. But I was impressed with how well they organized it, and it's obviously normal for them to have to do that.
So he built a cordon bleu.
Red.
Okay.
Where's that? I'm not quick. We have somewhere, but I'm not quick enough to do it because if I were on.
No, so, I was thinking of when we went to Tusker House, and Peter told the chef allergic to bananas, and he basically came and walked us around the whole buffet and basically said, well, there's banana bread and butter pudding there, and there's roasted plantains over there.
See, I love a plantain. That's the best thing on the Tusker House menu. I will eat a whole plate of roasted plantain.
So I mean, it wasn't anything we couldn't have worked out ourselves anyway, but still they go to the bother, which is great.
I mean, Simon just mentioned the Backlot Express in Hollywood Studios, and I think that is definitely worth a mention in terms of they do like a teppanyaki tofu, which is really, really good. Is it teppanyaki? I'm trying to remember. I'm sure teriyaki. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, okay.
Wrong word. The teriyaki tofu bowl.
I actually think I think Hollywood Studios has quietly become really good for quick service stuff like that.
Okay.
I don't know. It just sort of crept up on me. Before, I'd always be like, "Oh well, I'll go and eat the tofu bowl in Backlot Express," and then you think, actually, no, there's loads of stuff there. I mean, the one on the right there, that is the teriyaki tofu bowl.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Backlot Express, and the mixture of stuff in it is really good. They do it as a meat-based option as well, but the tofu could do with being crispy like they do it at loads of the other restaurants, but the flavors of everything else in there, when you don't want burgers or you're sick of eating fries, then that for me is always a really good option. And then the one on the left is that's Rosie's.
Is that the dog side? That's the plant-based hot dog
along Sunset Boulevard towards Tower of Terror, where you have all the outdoor stalls on the left.
Yes, yeah.
Loads of food options there. There's a vegan noodle bowl that they offer there, but that is the no lobster roll.
Okay.
So it's that area is hearts of palm. With,
that's good.
And it's something. It's not jackfruit. It's not fake meat. It's a different plant that they covered with mayonnaise. They've added Old Bay seasoning, so it gives it crab type flavor. It's not like you're going to sit and you're going to go, oh wow, that tastes like a
lobster
roll, but it gives you that sort of essence of it's something different. And
I've never tried that, and I might have to have a go at that this time.
This was the first time I tried it this trip. It'd been on my list for since they'd added it as a menu option there, but yeah, I would definitely have that again. It was
that's really good.
That's interesting because that area doesn't have a great reputation at all for food in general.
No, I think some of the stuff they've added there is actually quite good though.
Okay.
I'll tell you where
the noodles they do there. They do a plant-based soba noodle salad bowl that you can get with or without the fake chicken stuff.
Yeah.
But
I'll tell you I found in Hollywood Studios, the place that I found really disappointing for vegetarian or vegan options was the Hollywood Brown Derby.
Really? Okay.
Shame.
So we went there last summer, and there was one thing on the menu.
Really?
So previously, they did an amazing tomato risotto. I know we talked about mushrooms. They did the most incredible tomato risotto, and it tasted like the risotto components had been cooked. Like a good risotto should taste like it's been cooked for days. So like the sauce and the flavour should be really strong, because otherwise it's just rice and a sauce. And they did this tomato risotto, which had aubergine fritters on it. And I'd been there 6 months previous with Zach Brown. We went for dinner. I had the tomato risotto. I was like, yeah, we'll go to the Brown Derby. I can have the tomato risotto. It was incredible. It was so good. And we got there. It's not on the menu anymore. I asked, can you do me the tomato? No, we can't do it. It's seasonal menu. It's not an option. And the only option I could have was the shepherd's pie, which was a lentil-based shepherd's pie. And it was, I'm not going to say appalling. I'm going to say it was small, it was dull, and it was tasteless. So it's not somewhere that I will be rushing back to until seasonally they have the tomato risotto back.
Did they not even spice the lentils up a bit?
It was just poor.
I always think, for me, the only things you go to Brown Derby for are the Cobb salad and the grapefruit cake. And some of the other stuff is always a bit, you've got to remortgage your house to afford to buy and eat a decent meal at Hollywood Brown Derby. So I always think the quick service option, some of the table service stuff is okay. I wouldn't go out of my way to go and eat at Hollywood and Vine or 50s Prime Time anymore. I've been and done those before, but you're not a big fan of burgers, whereas I could eat the burgers there all day long. There's two in particular. The one on the left there is the one at Sci-Fi Dining.
Okay.
One. And then the one on the right is the one on the left is an Impossible Burger, so flying saucer Impossible Burger. I think it comes with a portobello mushroom on the top, and I'm a big fan of the cashew nut cheese that they had on the top. Don't know whether it's still on there, but it was just, I didn't think it added much to it. The one on the right, one of my favourite burgers was I think that's a Beyond Burger at ABC Commissary with a farro grain salad.
The farro salad looks good.
Yeah, it does.
That kind of miraculously just became one of my favourite things to eat at Hollywood Studios. It was like, wow, I'll definitely get this again, because it was just, I couldn't really fault it for price and no issues getting in the location and getting it. So.
Well, I've just checked the price of the dodgy shepherd's pie that I had at the Brown Derby, and that came in at an eye-watering $33.
Wow.
I definitely wouldn't pay that again. So the Brown Derby's off my list for the moment, which is a shame, because it's always been a good place to have in, up your sleeve. If you're,
I think that Beyond Burger, California Burger, ABC Commissary is like less than 50.
Yeah, I was going to say it's like $12.99 or something, isn't it? Yeah. The other thing that's good, I was going to say, the other thing that's great in Hollywood Studios is the vegan tachos at Woody's Lunchbox.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
They're really good. I've had that. So they come with like a vegan chili on the top, and they are great.
And I think they do a toasted cheese sandwich as well.
They do a cheese,
plant-based cheese on that.
And you can get that in the kids menu option. So if you're not a massive eater, the trick at Hollywood at Woody's Lunchbox is to go for the kids meal, which is the grilled cheese and tomato soup, and you can get the grilled cheese in the vegan option. And so you get half the grilled cheese, which is still probably bigger than your face, and then a smaller cup of tomato soup, and that is about, I think it's like $9, and it's amazing, really, really good, really tasty, and plenty of food. So that would be my shout.
I think the tachos you can order gluten-free option there.
You can.
Oh, cool.
I think was it Faith in the chat that was?
Yeah. I love a potato barrel, me. I'm slightly disappointed that Friar's Nook in Magic Kingdom don't do a non-sausage gravy option, because they do the sausage.
Okay.
They do like the potato barrels with sausage gravy at breakfast. I wish they did one that was slightly less meaty. But
Yeah, I don't think Magic Kingdom's great for some of its vegan quick service options. I think it's a little bit limited. You got better options if you have breakfast at Crystal Palace or some of those Royal Table. They've got options, but I think the quick service breakfasts at Magic Kingdom in particular always a bit lacking. For me, I would always pick a resort. Around there.
Yeah.
Right.
I think the resorts.
Talking
around
of which,
Well, we haven't done Animal Kingdom.
I know. So I was just going to say, shall we whip round to Animal Kingdom?
Yeah, let's do that
before
quickly.
we hit the resorts.
And I'm going to throw open straight away the bread service at Nomad Lounge.
Okay.
Because that's excellent. And if you head down to Satuli Canteen, you can get the tofu option in terms of the bowls that, you can get your black bean base or rice base or whatever you want.
There you go. The right hand one, that's the tofu bowl at Satuli Canteen.
Yeah. What's the one on the left? The one on the other.
The left one is my favourite restaurant at Animal Kingdom, which is Yak and Yeti. So that's the veg bowl option.
I haven't been there for about, I'm going to say, 15 years. That looks really good. That looks really tasty.
Yeah. So I think Yak and Yeti is a bit of a hidden gem. If you only look at the menu on their website, it misses off the specials menu, which is a rotating menu that they have. I mean, it's a fully printed, laminated menu option, but they don't add those options onto the website because they rotate them around, and they are chef-created options that they have maybe every quarter they change them, or every 6 months, and there's always really, really good options in there. But the good thing with Yak and Yeti is not only do they have that veg bowl, but they will also rotate tofu into some of the other dishes.
Right,
the noodle dish they will swap out. So you can get lo mein with tofu. They'll also add tofu in place of chicken for the sweet and sour as well. So you don't feel like you're missing out if you're eating vegan, because you'll just get the tofu in the same sauce. But I think the veg bowl is one of the better, certainly more filling options you can go there.
In terms of, what's the barbecue restaurant in Animal Kingdom?
Flame Tree.
Flame Tree got any options for? I've never.
They do. I don't think you would eat it because it's.
Is it jackfruit?
Yeah, it's impossible, but it might be impossible. Yeah, it might be impossible burnt ends now. So it depends whether you want to eat the flame.
No, I'd probably go with that.
Jackfruit. It's impossible from what I remember.
It's a jackfruit and avocado burger. Just my favourite. With tomato. I've just pulled up the menu to have a quick look, and it's.
I had the burnt ends in July last year. I didn't take a photo. I just miraculously forgot. But if anybody tried the short rib that they did, which was an impossible short rib that was at one of the Epcot festivals, the burnt ends are really, really similar to those.
Okay.
The only disappointing bit for me again was the slaw, a bit like Magic Kingdom with the slaw that goes on top of that very, very dry crab cake. The slaw in that was really, it just lacked any flavour. It was just like shredded red cabbage and carrot.
Do you think that's because they make it maybe with a yogurt or with like a dairy-free mayonnaise alternative? Or
I think that when they make the other mayos, I don't think they have the dairy option for making that as a creamy type slaw, or there's something in it that means that it's not
very
not
nice.
dairy-free. But I just found that a little bit of a you may as well have not bothered with that on the side. The burnt ends were nice enough, quick and relatively inexpensive.
Yeah.
Did you not put something like a French dressing on the coleslaw or something like on there?
Well, you would think, but they don't, and then it's just
okay.
I just found that a little bit bland on the side.
Right, okay.
I just remembered that we missed out when we were in Hollywood Studios, and we missed out Woody's Rodeo Roundup Barbecue.
Yeah,
we've got
to go back for that.
We've got to definitely go back for that. Have you got any photos of that? Because I didn't.
I don't think I have.
But yes,
I assumed you might have had the photos of it.
No, I didn't take any. I was too busy eating to take any photos. The plant-based options there are incredible. I would say, having had dinner there a few times with people who've had the meat-based option and tried my plant-based option, they said that some of the stuff was much better. So they do like a cauliflower that's covered in almost like a parmesan and creamy dressing. It's a bit like the elote that you get in Mexico in Epcot, which I am an absolute convert to. I had it for the first time when I was there. So the corn, the barbecue corn with like the cheesy dressing, and so good. But the cauliflower steak that they do in barbecue, Roundup barbecue, is similar to that in terms of topping. They do a sausage, and then they do a fake chicken. It's a plant-based option which looks a bit like a chicken drumstick. It's got like a sugar cane stick, and then it's almost like a big meatball, but it's obviously not meat. And that is incredible.
I enjoy that there. And I think out of all of the places, that is one that has a lot of the standard options are vegan friendly as well, and veggie friendly. So even like the sides, the veggie slaw, the baked beans. I don't know how big a fan you are of the baked beans, because they've got jackfruit and barbecue beans.
Yeah, no, they're okay. I can eat them.
Yeah. The potato barrel things, which everybody loves there. And the two salad options are both vegan. So
really
I
good.
always think if there's meat eaters with you, they will probably try some of the non-meat stuff and actually really enjoy that, because I think it has a lot to offer even to people that would typically just eat meat. And it's got the nice sausages on there as well. I find the sausage in there, that's the one thing I can't stop eating when I'm there.
So we went back for that because it's worth going back. But anywhere else in Animal Kingdom, I can't think of anywhere else that I would make a beeline for.
What about Tusker House?
Tusker House is great. The amount of plantains that I can eat in an hour is quite significant. But it's just.
Do we need to go just after Claire's Bean?
Yeah, I will do. I will get rid of all the plantains for you.
Yeah.
You won't have to worry about it. I think Tusker House is fine. I think the food is very tasty, what I can eat. But it tends to be fairly basic plant-based or vegetarian options. There's nothing, like the bobotti is meat-based. They've got the big ham in the corner. They're not doing options of that. But it's a good breakfast regardless.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I think since COVID and since they closed the buffet restaurants and then many of them reopened again, my opinion slightly is I would always be a big advocate of buffet type breakfast, because I think if you're a big group, there's no issue with buffet breakfast. But since they reopened, the cost has gone up on most of them, and I think actually the options have reduced somewhat. And I don't think they quite offer the same value that they used to, and I think the narrowing down of options just takes the edge off it a little bit of the experience for me now. But I'm sure there's loads of people that want to go because they want character breakfast, and that's really great for Tusker House is one of those that's great. But I think if you want great food, I always think there's slightly better options at some of the others. You get a bit sick and tired of walking around and all you can see is eggs, sausage and bacon and potato tots. And you walk around the other side and it's an identical option. So, I think they've just narrowed that down a little bit in its offering for me.
So we mentioned the resorts, and I think you're right. I think, to be honest, the resorts are where some of the most interesting food is to be found anyway.
Most definitely.
So
where do we start?
What are some of your favorites?
Let's go. We mentioned it earlier. Let's talk about Steakhouse 71, because I think that they absolutely nail it. And I got a photo of this, which is it's called the fork and knife salad. Yeah. Or the knife and fork. I think it's the fork and knife salad. So effectively, it's a Caesar salad. It's vegetarian. It's not vegan. The dressing is vegetarian. But it is outstanding. It's so good. And it is literally a romaine lettuce cut in half with the sauce and the dressing and the croutons. And I know that Robin loves it as well, but it is something that I sat at the bar and ate it and I was like, okay, this is really, really good. Which is ridiculous because it is just Caesar salad. I love Caesar salad anyway, but I would have that every single time. And then I think probably the ultimate plant-based dish in all of Walt Disney World for me is this. which
Yeah.
is the Steakhouse 71 Vegetable Wellington. So this is plant-based. It is vegan pastry. It has got artichoke hearts inside it. It comes with sprouts and almost like a chimichurri dressing, and then the coulis underneath is almost like a carrot and squash puree. This is unbelievably good, and I could eat it every single day of my holiday.
Right.
That looks amazing.
It's so good.
It's by far out of all the trips when we go, like that for me still. I always come away and think, wow, that's still one of the best things, if not the best thing I've eaten.
I really fancy that. That looks amazing.
It's cooked so well because it's quite easy to make artichokes go slimy, and they don't. They've got it sussed. And actually, I am a huge lover of that dish, and I will happily go to Steakhouse 71 any day of the week and have that. They don't serve it in the lounge, unfortunately. I think if I asked, they might. I sat at the bar. The other thing that I love in Steakhouse 71, which I haven't got a photo of, is the onion rings, which come with they've changed the dip actually, but the onion rings, if you're an onion rings fan, they are vegetarian. I think they're probably vegan actually, because they're probably fried in a different fryer, but they are often, when you have a frozen onion ring, when you bite it, you get like this stringy bit of onion.
Yeah.
These are made with fresh onion, and so they're crispy onion in the middle, and they are, I can't say how good they are. I can't articulate how good they are because I didn't believe it would be a thing. And then I tried them and I was like, oh my goodness, these are amazing. I took Anna to Steakhouse 71 Lounge, and we sat there with Zach and we tried them. We were like, oh my goodness, these are like the best onion rings I have ever had in my life. And I know Ben better like them, but they are.
Even the ranch dressing on the side is vegan, so they're vegan.
Yeah,
so good. I mean, they're like a meal in themselves because there's like 6 of them and they're huge. And you can get them sat at the bar, so you can have a drink and you can have some little onion rings, and yeah. Nice. Steakhouse 71 is definitely a move.
Yeah, I don't know whether I could eat at the bar and turn around and see people eating the.
I reckon if you ask, they would do it at the bar for you. I reckon you could have the vegetable Wellington, as long as you don't rock up at 9:30 like we tend to do. I think if you went at like 8 o'clock in the middle of dinner service, they would probably do it.
Maybe if Tim's on. Tim was great.
Tim was great, yes.
Yeah.
But where else in terms of resorts? So we've got over in Grand Floridian.
Yeah.
What about your thoughts?
Grand Floridian Cafe.
I've still not been. Never been.
Well, you won't really like it because the 2 options are either an Impossible Burger or Avo Toast.
Yeah, so the Avo Toast thing is not happening.
Those are the 2 options and the Avo Toast there, I think, is one of the best that they have at Disney.
Okay.
So if you're veggie, you can order it with eggs on the side, but if you're plant-based, you can just go for it straight as is. And then the Impossible Burger on the right-hand side, which is an Impossible Burger. It is what it is, but definitely the Avo Toast is really rather good.
See, they are missing a trick.
That's a big pickle.
Yes.
Moving on. They said that I think they are missing a trick not selling that Avo Toast in Animal Kingdom in Pandora. It's World of Avo Toast. It looks amazing.
I still haven't located the tumbleweed quickly enough. Sorry. So the other place that I had, and this isn't the best photo, please excuse me, but in the Enchanted Rose, this is the cheese plate that you get. And this is obviously vegetarian. So it's a pecorino. There is a soft cheese, which has got like an almond brittle on it. There's a blue. And then, this is there's a quince paste on the top. I would say that this is probably the best cheese plate I've had in Disney.
Oh, now talking my language there.
So I had the one in Dahlia Lounge and it was fine. The following night I went to Enchanted Rose and had that, and it was incredible. It was so good. So if you are a vegetarian and you're just looking for like a little snacky snack, then
I've never been one to go for cheese options much at Disney. The only when they used to do the seminars at Food and Wine, I did a cheese and wine seminar, and so that completely changed my entire view on cheese after that. So I was completely scuppered forever thinking, I could live without cheese because that completely changed my worldview. But I've never been one to go for much of the cheese options.
Flying Fish used to do a very good cheese plate.
Yeah.
I don't know whether they still do, but they used to do a very good cheese plate.
But Wine Bar George.
Wine Bar George.
And
Yeah,
actually,
absolutely.
Artist Point used to do an amazing cheese plate.
Oh, they did,
Yes,
yeah.
R.I.P. Artist Point.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Wine Bar George is amazing. If you're a cheese fan, get it.
Okay, I've never
Yeah.
been to Wine Bar George. It's one of the places that has never made it to my list. So maybe
Yeah.
I am surprised.
It was one of our
I am
top
surprised.
meals
Right.
last time.
I like
Yeah.
to surprise people, Peter. You know, I don't like to be so predictable.
I mean, we obviously had the charcuterie option as well, but they
Yeah.
do have a plate that's
They do the big board,
Yes,
don't
cheese.
they? I'm
Yeah, we
like,
do,
I'm
yeah.
like,
We
I'm
had-
doing
what we
this.
had.
The big board.
Yeah.
we had
It's got
it.
everything on it.
It is big,
Yeah.
and they keep bringing you breads and all sorts of things. You can have wine pairings. There's a chocolate and wine pairing for dessert as well. Yeah, it was probably the best meal we had last time.
It was
really
yes.
good.
Yeah.
In terms of the poly, I'm trying to think if there's anywhere
Yeah.
that does decent. Have you got anything from the poly that you wanted to highlight? Because I think
Yeah,
they do.
so
I've been to
Cone-
Ohana and been disappointed.
I've always thought the plant-based stuff at Ohana looked certainly for the dinner option. I think since they've changed the meat menu option, I always thought that the plant-based option that they'd introduced there with like the vegetable roll and some of the plant-based stuff always now sounds like the more appetizing option anyway.
Right.
But Kona Cafe, for me, the breakfast, people know about the Tonga toast. Well, they do two vegan options there. One on the right is the vegan Tonga toast. And then on the left is vegan Loco Moco. So
Okay.
for those who don't know what Loco Moco is, it's a Hawaiian breakfast dish, which is rice, usually with fried eggs, hamburger patties, and gravy. Slightly different here in that it's a sausage gravy they have with it, and then it's a just egg omelette overlaid over the top of it. Now, I usually get that, and then I order they do a vegan egg platter with sausage. I will order the Beyond sausage from that as a side for the Loco Moco.
That sounds so good.
Is not one that you often think of, because if you're thinking of the Polynesian, your first thought is usually going to be, oh, well, we'll go to Ohana for character breakfast, or you're there for all you can eat at the evening option.
I have never been to Kona for breakfast. But actually, do you know what? That looks incredible. That vegan Loco Moco. I could totally eat that. So that's on the list.
I think Polynesian generally, the Captain Cook's has got, again, a really decent burger, but it's a little bit unusual. It's red pepper and rocket on there.
Yeah.
Or arugula, as our American viewers would say it. But yeah, I think it's just a couple of good options there for vegan and veggie. So
Yeah.
I think they did offer a tofu one at one point. I don't know whether that's still on the menu, but they offer
not
tofu.
banana fans.
No.
No.
The other place that I think is worth mentioning is Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Mm.
And both Kidani and so Sanar has good option for vegetarians, and they have they also, I would say that the bread service is vegetarian. The dips, all 10 of them, people count them, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 dips are fine, for apart from the one which is like a tzatziki, although it's yogurt, it isn't plant-based, but the others are all fine for vegans. The bread itself is vegetarian because it's got ghee on it, so it's clarified butter. But I think that Sanaa is a good option. They do have a main course which is a vegetarian option, and obviously the different curry components are available. But also Gico has, I'm going to bring up, where's there? It's a dreadful photo. You can see my phone in the photo. That's that's the injera basket.
Okay, yes.
Which
Okay.
is an Ethiopian dish. It has obviously a chickpea dish. It's got the bottom left is a spinach and mushroom dish together.
Okay.
It has like a cucumber and red onion salad, a tomato and mint salad, and then the top is like a lentil based dish. And basically you use the injera bread, and you are meant to use your hands and pick it up within the injera bread, which is that is all plant-based, and it is delicious. And I am a massive convert to that. I would never have picked that until someone said to me, we've got to try it. And I thought it was amazing. And the move, if you aren't sure, is to share it as a starter. I recommend that option. But yeah, so G-Code has...
Bone was quite good as well as a vegan breakfast location. I've not done breakfast there. I only did dinner there probably at least 6 years ago. So it was pre-COVID since I last ate there. But the breakfast is one of those that they do have vegan waffles, as they do at a lot of places. But they usually have things like tofu scramble, like certain vegetables that they'll do at breakfast as well. So that's usually pretty good if you're vegan and you explain that you want vegan options. The chef will usually try and create something for you. So I think some of those where the flavors are a bit off the standard of like regular scrambled egg, bacon and sausage type places, like Boma is one of those that usually has different options for regular carnivores anyway. So I think they're always willing to look at doing something a bit more unusual for you there.
Yeah, and Hannah's just pointed out in the chat that the bread service isn't vegan. That's what I say. Because it's got ghee on quite a lot of the naan bread and stuff like that. So, and then the only dip that you can't have if you're vegan is the tzatziki, so the cucumber yogurt one. But yeah, the rest of them are fine.
But if you explain to them that you are vegan, they will tailor the bread service so that it will be vegan.
Right. Okay. Good.
They'll just take the stuff out that isn't.
Yeah, you don't want to miss out on the bread service.
When I went to Ghana, there was lots of very good vegan vegetarian food in Ghana. So anything that is African should have some very good options for vegan vegetarians.
Which other resorts have you got on your list, Simon?
Wilderness Lodge, Fort Wilderness.
Cool.
Who
So
did you do?
Absolutely. So a bit like the options that you get at Woody's Roundup, the plant-based options at Hoop-de-Doo are also pretty good. So they do a complete platter that is just vegan food, and they do the strawberry shortcake dessert as a vegan with vegan a vegan cream dressing on the top as well. So, and that was when I was eating this was July when I last went. When eating that, I was more impressed with eating that than seeing all the plates of fried chicken that everybody else was eating. I was like, I think I'm onto a winner with what I'm eating here, because it was all of that is stuff that I would happily eat all day long. I'm guessing there's one thing on there that you wouldn't eat, Claire, which is the jackfruit. And that
that's the thing. The jackfruit is not my bag, but the rest of it's good. But yeah,
I think it's a really well thought out selection of stuff. It's they haven't tried to just replicate meat based stuff. They're giving you and all I want, I'll be honest, when I'm in America a lot of the time, is I just want something that's got some vegetables on it. And
bring on the cauliflower and the broccoli.
Yes.
And I think there's probably a lot to be said for a lot of people that after like maybe a week and a half of eating fries with every meal, that they want something different.
You want some sort of
veg that's not broccolini,
non-beige food.
But I'm a bit of an avo toast collector, so I go to like a lot of the places. If there's avo toast on the menu for breakfast, that's what I'm going to eat. And I'm a bit the same about the one on the right, which is Whispering Canyon. It's jacked up avo toast, so it's avo toast with jackfruit. There's a
tomato there as well. That sounds like my idea.
I think it's radish actually, but I think it's two of your worst nightmares, right?
So is that for breakfast or?
That's a breakfast option. So I don't know whether that's classed as a sharing appetizer on their menu, but you can have it as an individual main. And then, of course, I ordered one of their plant-based sausage options on there. The one on the left is Trattoria Al Forno at the Boardwalk. Again, they're avo toast.
I think that's changed since that photo was. When did you take that photo? Was it recently?
So that was December. The one on the left.
So that's changed since I was last. So I love Trattoria Al Forno, and I think they do some really great. I like the goat's cheese frittata for breakfast, and it comes with incredible skillet frittata, which has got goat cheese and spinach in it. And they have it comes with a side of fruit, which is always so icy cold. You know, take your time to eat the rest of it because you get an ice cream headache from your fruit.
Yeah.
But I remember going there, and I went for breakfast with Jason, and he had the avocado toast, and it looked completely different to that. It was almost a bit more deconstructed. So I wonder if they changed it slightly since I was last there. But trattoria al forno for breakfast is incredible.
Cool.
Right.
Good coffee.
Talking of Wilderness Lodge, last time we were there, we went to Whispering Canyon with a friend, and what they encourage you to do there is each have a different skillet so that you can share all the stuff. There is a plant-based skillet, but we didn't actually have that one. We had the Land and Sea, and the Land and Sea does include spicy vegan sausage, which was all right, and charred portobello, which was lovely, barbecued cauliflower, which was great, roasted potatoes, sauteed green beans, oven roasted carrots. So the vast majority of that is certainly veggie friendly. I don't know about the dressings and so on.
I think there's quite a big chunk of that is the same as what they offer on the vegan.
Yeah.
I've not had the dinner there, so I've never been. Whispering
I was surprised. I will admit, I was being a bit of a snob, and I expected there to be huge quantities, not much quality. I was so wrong. The quality was really, really good. The veg was so fresh. It wasn't just, here's endless amounts of stuff that all taste the same. Everything was fresh. Everything was different flavors.
It's not somewhere I've been. Again, it's not on the list. It's never made it to the top of the list.
I am looking at the plant-based menu now, and jackfruit, sorry.
Yeah, maybe that's why it's not made to the list.
And chicken, whatever that is.
Fake.
And
fake chicken.
What made me laugh is mustard glazed beefless tips. I am wondering about beefless tips. So there you go.
Careful how you say
if anybody's eaten beefless tips, do tell me what they're like.
So I think the sausage there is the same Beyond sausage again, everywhere else. So it's the same one that was on my jackfruit breakfast. It's the same one that they have. Yeah, it's the same one that they also serve at the Riviera.
Topolino's. Yeah.
So
sour cream waffle with a side of Beyond sausage.
No, I'm all about these two. So if I'm at Riviera,
I'm slightly disappointed you didn't arrange it to make it look funnier than that, Simon. Just saying, because I totally would have done if I was taking a photo.
Can't imagine what you mean.
So the one on the left is the Prima Piatto egg breakfast egg platter. So it's a just egg omelette, like roasted Mediterranean veg with pesto, and then the Italian Beyond sausage. I honestly, when I go back to Riviera, I dream about that the night that we arrive. So I have that the next day because that for me is one of the best breakfasts. I don't think many people really appreciate how good it is. I think it goes under the radar bit because it's a resort.
I love the fact that you're dreaming about sausages.
Honestly, I think that is so good. It's one of the best things for breakfast that I have at Disney.
Yeah.
The one on the right is the wild mushroom scramble from Topolino's at the character breakfast.
Yeah.
You look at it and think, it doesn't look like a lot, but it's really tasty and actually quite filling. It doesn't look aesthetically as great as some of the other options on the menu, but in terms of what it is and the fact it's vegan as well, it's Well, for me, I look at the left one and go, I'd rather have that breakfast than the one on the right. But I don't get character meat with the one on the left.
When I was at Topolino's in December with Anna, we went and we had a really great breakfast, and I had the sour cream waffle and I had a side of the vegan sausage, and I literally inhaled it. It was like just eating it so quickly. And the server said, "Oh, was it okay?" I said, "Yeah, can I have another one?" They actually brought me 2 more. I was
right,
like,
okay.
Yay! And didn't charge me for them. So yeah, they're just so good. And I don't know what. Maybe it's the environment that makes it taste even better. But I don't know. I'm aware of the time.
Yes.
I've only got
Have you
one
got
more.
any other mentions, Simon? Because
I have one more, and that is Three Bridges at Coronado.
Oh, so they've changed the menu recently, though.
So this was Dapper Day. I don't know whether this was this was December last year.
Okay.
So that is the
Tofu poke bowl.
tofu poke bowl.
Oh,
And obviously,
so
the main
good.
reason to go to Three Bridges anyway is the sangria flight. So,
I mean, let's face it, most cocktails are vegan. Just saying, people.
Most, yeah.
And so
Unless it's got cream in it, and most of them are vegan, so that's okay.
or egg white.
Yeah.
Or egg white, yeah.
Yeah.
But the tofu poke bowl I have had, and it's huge. The corn dip is vegan.
Mm.
And I make that at home. I have a cheap recipe for that, and I make that multiple times at home. Anytime people are coming around, I make the corn dip. And the curry hummus that I think is not on the menu anymore was vegan, and that was also incredible.
So I was thankful they made some changes to the poke bowl there, because I had it, I think, earlier last year. And I think it's Sichuan pepper that really gets to me. Like, I've not really noticed how much it actually numbs my mouth up to the point that I think I'm having like anaphylactic shock. It numbs my taste buds that much, and it was riddled with so much Sichuan pepper that I was like, I don't know whether I'm going into like a shock mode here, and but so the subtle changes they made, and that was really good when I had that. I think that was end of Dapper Day in December. I think it was late one evening.
Lovely. Now I have a problem because all this has made me really, really hungry. And there's virtually nothing in the house to eat. So if you're in the same situation, perhaps you could light up a candle or a wax melt from our friends Magic Park Scents, because all their products are cruelty-free and vegan-friendly. And you can have all these food-related scents like Main Street Bakery, pineapple float, pumpkin pie. And if you use the code GB Mickey Waffle, you get 10% off. So, worth a go.
There you are. I even remember to put the picture up.
Yeah. Oh, seamless. We're seamless.
I just about remembered.
Yeah. So what else have we got coming up? Next week, we have got something very special. It is trivia quiz time.
Oh, my life, really?
Yeah, so start brushing up on your Disney knowledge. Robin is going to present the GBMW quiz. And there's no
Robin's
prizes.
Quizmaster. Excellent.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no prizes except the warm, fuzzy feeling you get when you get an answer right.
The gloating that you can have over your next of kin and family and friends.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. That is going to be really good.
And coming out on the 1st of the next month, there is a very special episode.
Oh, yes.
There is. It's only next week. I suppose it's a week of the end of next week. We have our 1st of June show. And that is a anniversary show for us. It is 5 years of the Great British Mickey Waffle.
Wow.
5 years. Can you imagine?
Bolt yourself in, people. It's not a short one, so you make sure you've got your snacky snacks and you've got your drink and you settle yourself in, or you've got a long drive. Either of those is fine. But it's
or if you're flying out to Orlando, save it for the
plane. Will see you all the way there.
Yeah.
But if you do are driving, when we get towards the end of the program, you might want to slow down a bit.
Yeah. Some of it is definitely not safe if you're driving. Some of it may cause uncontrollable giggling. So, just be warned.
I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah.
I just remembered what...
Yes. While you're waiting for that to drop, all our previous shows are available right here on our YouTube channel and all your favorite podcast platforms. And we are at GB Mickey Waffle on all the usual socials. Do come and find us. Feel free to like, subscribe, and share this show with friends and family who share the same Disney passion that we do. And just thanks for coming with us on our food exploration tonight. Let's hope we've given you some ideas for your next visit. I'm sure I've got a list that's doubled now. And I think we have one special thing left to say. Plant-based Mickey-shaped waffle on.